Hi everyone, it's PRESLEY here from Melbourne, Australia. Welcome to Gemstars. Gee, we get the fantastic people on. It's PRESLEY and Kathy C.C. Carlson. How are you today, Kathy?
I'm doing fabuloso.
Great, and we got a fantastic guest with us. We got author, songwriter Irene Leland. How are you today, Irene?
Irene is doing great. Thanks to you all. I'm so honored to be on your show. Wow.
We're happy to have you on, and we'll be talking about your fantastic book, The King's Kid. And here we go, off with our theme song, Gemstars. She's my kind of girl. She's my kind of girl. Soon you'll be close to me, 'cause you mean the most to me. You're my kind of girl. Yes, you're my kind of girl. Right, straight in it. I'd like to see the book if I can, Irene. Let's have a look at the book before Kathy starts.
All right, here we go.
Fantastic. I like the cover. Can I have a look at the back as well? The King's Kid.
There's the front of it. Okay.
Yep.
And here's the back. Let me get it centered here.
Fantastic.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Yep, perfect. Great photo.
Yes, it is.
Okay, is that good?
Yeah, fantastic. Kathy, go for it.
Okay, Irene. Now it's the book. It's a biography written by you, and it's about ELAINE Elizabeth Presley. Of course, we also know her by Sis. And it's the Kid's Kid, Lost and Found, which is a real interesting subtitle. So can you just tell us a little bit about it? Because by now, Liz has an autobiography, but she's never had a biography. And you have a personal relationship with her. So we just love to hear about it.
Well, I couldn't be more grateful when she came into my life, and it's been quite a unique and dynamic phenomenon knowing ELAINE. I call her Lainey, but I know it's Liz now. Yeah, it was really, we both feel like it was meant to be when she popped into my life and I popped into her life. And that was in 2015. October of 2015. And what's really interesting is, and I originally met her on LinkedIn back in 2012. So we've really known each other for about 9 years. And what's really interesting is the fact that the whole time I've been lucky to be a part of her life, it's just been amazing because during that time period, I had the joy of being part of her evolution in discovering who she really was, who she is, you know? So that's been an incredible process for the two of us. And we've become undoubtedly the closest of friends. It's just been a wonderful relationship all the way around. So.
Terrific. And I just have to ask you a question. Of course, Elvis Presley is her dad. So I'm wondering if you ever felt the spirit of Elvis within ELAINE, also known as Liz Presley.
If I experienced a situation with Elvis, you're saying, or
with Liz herself, did she talk to you about, just feeling that connection with her dad in heaven, inspiring her and that type of thing? When she stayed with you, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
As I was just saying, the whole time we were together, all of these bits and pieces were coming together in her life, and she was discovering more and more. And she kept double checking and triple checking to make sure, but it just became more and more evident that she was Elvis's child. And so it's been terribly exciting to live through all that with her. And especially when she asked me to write the story of her life. That was beyond words. I mean, it was just a joy and a thrill. And it's just been such a wonderful journey going along with her. Really is. Originally, how we met, she was in England and she was looking for a songwriter to do some new songs for her to sing. And so that turned out to be me. And that was really neat. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out because I chose later on, I had to make a decision. And I decided that her style of singing was not appropriate for my style of music. But we were such close buddies that we just remained friends and supported each other in our music endeavors. And it's just been just wonderful, a wonderful time all together, musically and personally and professionally.
Terrific. Now, I know, I'm just curious. I mean, are there any secrets that she told you that you didn't tell the world during that time when you were building your close relationship? She confided in you, things that are in the book.
You mean things that are not in the book?
In the book, either way.
Oh, she shared so many things with me, and I got to know her so well, deeply well. I don't know how to answer that. I will say that I probably think, aside from her daughter, I think I probably know her better, and she knows me better than any. I mean, we know everything about each other. So if there's anything in particular you'd like to know about, I don't know. There's just so many things, so many facts. Yeah, it's not only on Amazon. In about 60 days, it's going to be in all the retail stores. Everything from Barnes & Noble to Target to eBay to, what do they call it, U-Read or Reread. It's going to be all over the place. And Lainey's got some incredible interviews for me coming up. And this was the best, but a lot of press releases. And she also, I'll tell you this, this is very new news, but it looks like there's going to be a documentary. They're already in the planning of a documentary, which I will have the wonderful favor to be involved in as a spokesperson about her. And then they're also even talking about doing a major feature film. So this is really moving along, and obviously the credibility factor, we've got a long way to go, but I am just, and I know how Lainey feels. The two of us are just elated that it's all coming together so very nicely. And we're getting a lot of good attention already. So what can I say?
How long did you spend researching the book and putting it together?
Actually, the first book, let me tell you, there's two books, okay? The first book was called Kid of the King. That's my book. I mean, I named it that and everything. But that took me a good year working in collaboration with Liz. And then what happened was the book got turned over to someone who was converting it to an autobiography. And in that process, the book, what happened was they did some alterations to the book, which took away from my original natural flow and the vibrancy and the deep, true meaning of the book. So ELAINE and I realized that. And then she asked me to resurrect my original biography, which is what I did. And that's The King's Kid that you're seeing now. And in doing so, it restored its original integrity. And it also brought the book back to its original authentic life.
So the lost and found part, now this is really unique. It's in the book, but can we reveal that, Liz ELAINE grew up in Essex, England, and your book really does talk about that. And it's the amazing thing about how she was born. Do you want to go into that?
It's an extraordinary journey that she went through. And growing up in England, she just always felt deep inside, that she didn't belong in this family. And she was in Colchester, England, and had two parents that were normal parents, normal ups and downs, all that kind of stuff. But she never actually, she was a boy. She was born a boy. And those are two big factors. She didn't feel comfortable in her own skin as a boy, and she knew that she didn't belong in the family. So she went on an arduous task all through her life growing up in trying to discover what the truth was. And as I said earlier, interestingly, when she came into my life, that's when all these pieces to the puzzle, so to speak, really came to life. And that's when she just, the light bulb went off and the enlightenment happened. And I call it in the book, the revelation. And that's when she really knew that this was all real. But before I even met her, she had a situation in England where she was sitting in Wales in her apartment, and all of a sudden her dad's spirit, and that's my very first intro in the book, all of a sudden her dad's spirit came to her, literally, and connected with her, because she always kind of had a feeling that Elvis was in the background, but she couldn't really pinpoint it. So Elvis came to her, and she basically got up out of her chair and said, "Oh my God, I'm Elvis's daughter." And so that was an incredibly illuminating day, to say the least. And that's what kind of got the ball rolling and propelled all of this to happen. And then everything just fell into place. And it's just been a remarkable phenomenon, just remarkable, you know?
Well, I guess we need to add that not only is Elvis Presley her dad, but Priscilla Presley is her mom. So it's not just one-sided. I mean, she's the eldest daughter. Okay, did you actually go through the process with her, experience it with her, when she was finding her way to realize that she was the daughter of both of them?
I was part of her process of doing incredible research. And she was very meticulous and dog-headed and very, very determined to make sure that everything was right. And but all of the things that she experienced in her youth, growing up, and discovering that, you know, all of these things, she did all that basically on her own. But when she came into my life, it all culminated and solidified and just became totally real. And it was very exhilarating for both of us, as you can imagine.
Yes, very much. So do you remember her first experiences when she was excited and thrilled to finally meet her mom? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's when she knew. And by the way, Priscilla is still in the background, but she's very much there. And as Liz keeps saying, she feels her love from afar. And obviously, Priscilla's in a very sensitive situation, you know. I mean, here she gave up this child so long ago, and now her child has resurfaced. And she has to deal and juggle, I should say, with the fact that this is her long lost baby. But she also has to deal with the legacy of Elvis as well. But there's no doubt in Liz's mind or in my mind, just through all of the experiences that have happened with Priscilla in the background. I mean, she invited Liz to 3 different events that she went to. She wasn't allowed to actually hug her and, you know, have a powwow because that was the protocol, which is understandable. But she was able to see her mom. And not only that, but her mother did a lot of things behind the scenes to help her out while she was living with me. She paid for a whole bunch of vocal lessons. Oh my goodness. Well, actually, the home that she's living in now, it's all because of her family. It's just been an outstanding. I think Priscilla, under the circumstances, is doing the best that she can do in acknowledging her daughter. And our hope and dream is that eventually she will be ready to come forward in some way or fashion or form, which would be lovely. Beautiful.
So Irene, have you been invited to the future events?
I'm sorry, I can't hear. The audio's off. I can't hear.
Has Liz invited you to the upcoming events at PRESLEY? Because I know she is going to do events in Memphis.
Yeah.
Liz, yes. Are you aware of some of those events that are happening in the future? Because
yes, in the future, she's got events coming up in the future. They want her to be very much involved as I think the centerpiece in a big parade that's going to happen on 9/11, which will mark 20 years since 9/11, and that'll be in Memphis. And she's also been very active in reviving her dad's memorial post in Memphis. And she's the one behind spearheading, redeveloping this, in fact, building a new building, actually. And it's all named after Elvis. And she goes down to Memphis a couple of times since she was living with me, while she was living with me, I should say. She went down a couple of times and was the head of the board. They had a board meeting and all the people were there and they organized everything. And she just put her heart into it. And then, of course, COVID hit. So that kind of put everything on hold. But it's going to move forward. And she was able to raise the funds for the new building. And it's going to be terribly exciting when the building is, completed. Really exciting.
Yes. So she really is a spokesperson for PRESLEY. Not only does she have the publishing company with them, the 360 Publishing, because we had interviewed, Plastic P and I had interviewed Liz or ELAINE about that. So that's really exciting too. To be able to find artist royalties and all of that. And you're a songwriter, so you would appreciate that, right?
And oh my goodness. And her mother, I know, is extremely proud of her and is watching her closely to see how she does in the world with her new identity. And not new, it's really old identity, but it's, come back to life. So I think that makes Lainey very happy, knowing that her mom is with her there as much as she can be. And it's going to be just very enlightening and very exciting to see how things transgress and transpire, I should say. I think it's going to get more and more exciting all the time. And I know Laine is on a good path and she's very, very forthright and determined. And she's a great persevering person. And she never, even when she gets knocked down by the haters, as she used to call them, it doesn't bother her one bit. She just forges right ahead. She's just amazing, really amazing.
Irene, can you tell me, please, in the timeline of Elvis and Priscilla?
Yes.
What year was Liz born? Like, I'm trying to place where she was born, how she ended up in England. Can you tell me more about that?
It can be very confusing. Actually, her father and her mother, they were both in the army barracks in Germany. And that's where they met. And of course, Priscilla was much younger than Elvis. And at any rate, they met and it was just a wonderful meeting and very exciting. And so what happened was ELAINE as David, because she was originally a boy, she was conceived over there. Well, actually, no, she was conceived in Germany. But then Priscilla, from what we know, and we do know, she went to Essex, England to have the baby. And that's typically what what family members do in Germany when they become pregnant. They go to England to have their children born, which is exactly what Priscilla did. And so then it's become more and more evident that that Elvis, obviously, they didn't want this to come out because it would have destroyed his image, his career. And he was really famous, of course. But Elvis, he knew that this baby had to be taken care of. And from what we learned, he found a home in England, in Coggeshall, which is the home that she was raised in. And it turns out we found out, going through all the DNA, not only discovering and not confirming who she is, but we found out that that her mother that raised her, not her real mother, her mother Mildred, actually is a cousin through Elvis. Lovely thought to know that Elvis wanted a family member to raise her for her security and to be, part of the family. And I just think it's just so amazing how Lainey just, as I said, put all those pieces together and she knew there was something more out there. She knew that she belonged to something else, even though she treasured what her family that raised her, she treasured what they did for her. And when her mother died, that was really hard on her. But then she came to this new life and found out her real home and her real origin. So it's very exciting.
When is the release date? And as you said, it's going to be everywhere now, Irene. Ria?
Okay, right now it's available. It came out officially on July 24th. So you can order it on Amazon now. It's $24. It also comes in a Kindle version. And eventually I'm going to be doing the audiobook. I'm a voiceover artist. And so ELAINE asked me a long time ago, she wants me to do that too. So that'll be down the road. But the 60-day thing, that's the retail stores, Barnes & Noble, all of them. It'll be in all those stores in about 60 days is what I've learned from ELAINE.
Show us the book one more time, Irene. Is there plans for you to do book signings in the stores?
Well, we were going to be doing that before the virus took hold. So I don't know, but knowing ELAINE, she always has a new plan up her sleeve. So we may be doing, I hope we do. I think that would be marvelous. Yeah, there's the book again.
Well, that's The King's Kid. That's the book there. Go out and buy it now. Don't wait. It's a fantastic, riveting story. And no one's going to know what the real story is unless they read the book. And that's the great thing about it. And I've got to say, Irene, you've done a great job in putting that all together. Now, I also want to ask you about your songs. Where can they buy your songs?
Oh, my goodness. I hope you go to, I'm on all the digital stores, everything from iTunes to Amazon to Pandora, Spotify, whatever. And I have maybe, about 12 songs on there. I have many, many, many songs that I've written. But my passion in life is being a songwriter. And I know you're a songwriter too, Plastic. So is Kathy. And that's, as you all know, it's a very fulfilling career. And I'm just very honored to have a lot of music awards. And I've gotten some just wonderful reviews and endorsements. And it's just something I just keep moving along with. It's my treasure, Now,
Irene, can I ask you a quick question? Can they pre-order this book? Can they pre-order it at all?
Oh, pre-order.
Yeah.
Well, if you order it right now, it only takes 2 days to get it. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about the pre-order. But
Irene, can they buy it from you direct signed? Can they buy it from you direct and you sign it and send it to them?
ELAINE already has that in the works. And I have a bunch of books coming to me wholesale. And then I will sign them. But they won't be here for, I think she said 2 to 4 weeks. And I don't know why that is. There's a certain process that Amazon goes through. But yes, you're right. Yes, eventually I will be able to sign books and send them and do all that fun stuff. Yeah.
Well, I want to say on behalf of Plastic EP and Kathy C.C. Carlson here on Gemstars, it's been a riveting interview. There's so much there. What a great book that you've written. And for everybody out there, as I said, go and buy The King's Kid because you can't be without that book, can you, Kathy? You've got to buy it to read the real story. That's what it is, isn't it?
Exactly. Because I'm even curious what's in there that I don't even know about. Great.
Thanks again, ladies, and we thank you so much for being on the show, Irene. So from Plastic EP and Kathy, thanks again. As I said, don't wait. Go and buy the book now. Go on the net and buy it. Thanks, Irene.
Yay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Pleasure.